Okay, good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Food, Fitness, and Fun with Dre and JD. This is episode 9.
Nueve. We gotta keep going in Spanish now. We started something.
after the Ocho?
You know what I'm saying? Now
Yeah.
we gotta keep
After the
saying shit
Ocho,
in
now you
Spanish.
wanna hit the Spanish on them.
You know what I'm saying?
Nueve. You know what I'm
You know what I'm
saying?
saying? We habla
El
español
Nuevo.
up in this bitch.
That's right. I hear
All
that.
right, let's do it.
All right, so we're gonna get right into it today. We don't waste no time.
Yeah,
Let's talk about fitness goals. What are
yeah.
your fitness goals, and what does this lead to? How does this help you along your path? They starting early today. You know what I'm saying. All right, start that again. So we're starting with fitness goals. What are your fitness goals? What does that lead to? What path does that put you on? Um, so what you want to start in general, or you want to be specific on us?
Yeah, maybe we could go on us, and I
Okay,
mean, we know better. Who you know better more than yourself, right?
that's true. That's
So
true. Or do
yeah.
you really know yourself?
Well, it's a journey.
it
It's a journey.
is. That's right. It is a journey. That's what I always say. I
Yeah.
always say it's a fitness journey. I
Yeah,
don't say like
definitely.
my weight loss, blah blah blah. I always say like on my fitness journey. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So fitness goals. Um, you know, way back, my goal was to get under 300 pounds.
Woo.
Once upon a time, I was like, I don't really know. I don't know my exact weight. People always ask me what was my biggest. What I do know is I stepped on the scale and the shit went speeding past 300, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna head out, and I got
Yeah.
off of it. So
Yeah.
it was probably something like 350. Um, I definitely wasn't comfortable wearing like 2X at that point in a lot of shirts. It was becoming like uncomfortable wearing 2X. People wore baggier clothes then, but I can't really say I would have wore tighter clothes anyway because I was big. So I know I was above 300, something probably like 350. So at that point, it
Woo.
was just, I need to get some of this weight off of me. Um, so it took a year, 2013 to 2014, about a year, something like 13 months. I got down to 185. Um, and I know I was under. Thank you, sir. Well, that was largely because of you. You whipped me into shape. You know what
Nah.
I'm saying? You took me into the
Nah.
dojo, we call the gym, and was
Nah.
like, all right, you're going to do this and this and this and this. And when you're done with that, you're going to get on the elliptical for 65 minutes and do interval training, which we didn't even know was way too much back then because we were all new to interval training. But that's another discussion.
Yeah.
So I got down to 185, 180, something in that range. And niggas was like shirtless at that point, taking pics, flexing, feeling good.
Yeah.
And that was it for me. I was happy. And I could have kept going, probably should have kept going, but I didn't. And ever since then, I've kind of been like up and down with my fitness. I've never really been as consistent as I should have been. Um, so my weight has varied. And because of that, my goals have varied. What like I've said before here, when COVID started, I locked in. I really started grinding, doing a lot of body weight stuff and eating all my stuff at home, no junk food, trying to just be as healthy as possible. And I was the slimmest and probably healthiest and most fit I've ever been. So again, the goals were changing. I've gained a lot of that weight back. I was just above 200. Um, During COVID, I dropped down to 177. That was the lowest I've ever been as an adult, and that was great. That was cool. But like I've said, COVID, things started opening up, and I started wilding. So I got back above 200, something like 206. And once again, it was time to evaluate, be self-aware and see what are the goals. So the goal has always kind of been, since that 185, to be slim and cut. I don't have a number on the scale I'm looking to hit. To be honest, in 2021, I don't really care about the scale as far as the number it says.
That's
The
good.
scale I have, what'd you say?
I said that's good. That's good.
Oh,
That
oh, oh,
you're yeah.
thanks.
That you're not focused on that number. But go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think the number matters as much. Now, the number I like to focus on is body fat percentage. So I would like to get my body fat percentage way down. It's currently at like 34% according to my scale. I would like to bring that body fat percentage way down, maybe to the 20s or something like that. So that being said, I know I have to stop eating fatty foods, stop consuming the amount of sugar I consume, and I have to do things that are going to help me shred this fat. So I do cardio very often. I do cardio 4 or 5 days a week. Um, Even on a busy week, I try my best to get at least 3 days of cardio in. Um, so my goals are currently to be slim and cut. Now, does that mean a six pack? I don't know. Does that mean I weigh a buck 50? I don't know. I'm less concerned with the number on the scale and more concerned with the way I look and feel. You good?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead. Listen.
Um, so I'm more concerned with how I look and feel than the number. If I feel comfortable, and I've been saying this for a while, if I look the way I want to look and the scale says 250, cool. If I
Right.
feel the way I want to feel and the scale says 150, cool.
Right.
I'm not really going for a specific weight class. I'm not in boxing or MMA or any of that stuff.
Right.
But I am trying to get slimmer, cut, I guess lean, as they would say. Um, One could argue that I could do more body weight exercises as opposed to strength training. I like to do a balance. So I do the strength training and I also do cardio. So those are my goals, and that's what I'm doing to get on the road there. Now, a criticism of myself, which I say all the time, and I've already said, I need to bring my sugar consumption way down. I love sugar. I like having a sweet snack daily if possible. And that's what I have to work on because that sugar becomes fat and I'm trying to reduce fat. So I have to reduce my sugar intake, my fat intake. So those are my current fitness goals. I'm just under 200 today, um, and my body fat is at like 34% or 33, something like that. I want to bring it down to maybe 20%. To me, I think that would be cool. I don't know how accurate it was back when I was 185, like 2014 or whatever it was. My boy had like this wristband thing that kind of measured body fat percentages, and shout out to Nestor for that. And Nestor had this wristband thing. It said I was like 16% body fat at that time. Um, I'd like to get back to there one day, but for now, my short term goal is to get it under 30% body fat and eventually 20, and see how it goes. So
Okay.
that's my current fitness goals. You could
Okay.
you could dive in.
Well, before I even
And if you
say
have
what my
questions, I'm down to answer
yeah,
whatever.
before I even say what mine is, I just want to talk a little bit about some of the things you said. So first of
Yeah,
all, I
yeah.
just want to say most, if not all, of these body fat measurements are
Mm-hmm.
usually inaccurate, right?
Okay.
Whether it's the one on the scale or the one that Nestor had over the arm, they're usually inaccurate. It's really tough, even with some of the most expensive machines, to get an
Mm-hmm.
accurate body fat percentage.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's why, I don't really focus on like that percentage as much as I always say, you know,
The
less
mirror.
scale, more mirror, and
That's
more
right.
pics, right?
Yep.
Take pictures of
Yep.
yourself,
Yep.
look at yourself in the mirror, and say, what you like, what you don't
Right.
like, what you want to change, and you kind of go
Yep.
from there. If as you, if the goal is like aesthetics, having a
Right.
certain look,
Right.
so just don't get so bogged down. Oh man, the scale is doing this, the scale is doing that. Now,
Right.
can these things be tools? Yeah. As I always say,
Absolutely.
it's best to be consistently inaccurate. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yep.
So if I'm using my scale, which shows me my BMI, um, I am using that as a tool. I'm not saying that it's correct, but I still
Right.
want to see it go down. So if it
Right.
says 30%, it may not be 30%, but
Right.
if I'm looking at my body and saying, okay, yeah, I got some more fat that I want to lose, I still want to see that go down, even
Yep.
though it might be inaccurately measuring
Right.
30%.
Right.
So
Well, we
I just want
say,
to be like,
go
yeah,
ahead.
now go ahead.
Oh, well, we say all the time, none of these things are exact, right? Even when you're
Hmm.
on the elliptical, even
Right,
the Fitbit or the Apple Watch,
right,
they're all estimates.
exactly,
Maybe it's not so far from the truth, but
right,
it's a ballpark figure, and the ballpark figure is to help you with what you're saying. It's like, okay, according to the scale, it keeps saying 34% fat. Okay, now we want to use that as a guide to bring it down. Or the opposite. On the elliptical, it's saying I'm burning 400 calories every time. All right, I want
right,
to bring that up to maybe 420 or 450.
right. And
Yeah.
the only reason I mention that because there are some people who are really, really small, and like
Yeah.
you can see like that's what's up right there. You can see
Sorry.
like the ribs is touching, but they'll get
Right.
on one of these machines and be like, "I'm 15% body fat," and it's like,
Right.
son, come on.
Right.
Are you
Yeah.
looking at you?
Right.
You know?
It's like, can I buy you a
So
sandwich?
yeah, it's like look at yourself. I mean, I don't care what that
Right.
machine is saying. You
Right.
know what your eyes see.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah. Living, dying by the scale, never
yeah.
good.
But I also want to say like, you got to look at the whole journey with what you're saying. Is like if you know that you was at 350
Right.
and you got way down to the 200s, that is fabulous. You know what I'm saying? That is
Yeah.
fucking fabulous. And what I think you should do, and maybe I'll do it too, is because we do have the video, maybe
Uh huh.
we can inject some of our old pictures
Yeah.
of
That's easy. I
how
can
we
do
used
that.
to look, and I know you
Yep. I
got
can definitely
videos
do
and
that.
stuff. Yeah, so that people can kind of see like, damn.
Right. Yeah.
Um, but
That's a good idea.
yeah, because it's like that is tremendous. Now, you got down to like 170, 180. Okay,
Right.
you gained 10, 15 pounds. So fucking what? You know what I'm saying? Like that's like
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying. Oh, but my goal is to get back to here, and I respect that. But
Hmm.
looking at where you came from, those 10, 15 pounds is like,
Yeah. It's light work.
you know what I'm
It's
saying?
light work.
Like,
It's
yo,
funny because I
bro.
say the same thing. Like, during holidays, people always do like cool shirts or like, different clothes when you go to the family
Yeah,
crib. My
yeah,
sister will buy me smaller stuff on purpose, because she's more into the fit stuff and she's a fashionista. And my dad is always like, I don't know if you're going to be able to fit that. I'm like, ain't nothing. You talking to me. Like, what that mean? I got to drop five? I can drop five, baby. What's that? Drop 20? I ain't
right,
worried about that. I put
right.
that right with the other schmediums. I'll be right with you. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, exactly, exactly.
Schmedium.
And the other thing is, the closer you get to whatever that weight is, it gets harder. So yeah, when
Yep.
you're 100 pounds overweight, to lose
Yep.
10 pounds, it's nothing. But
Yep.
when you're getting closer to your like lean body, it
Yep.
might be a little bit harder to take off that 10 pounds. So 10 pounds is
Yes.
not always 10 pounds. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. The
yeah,
more fat you have, the more it's going to drop. The
right,
easier it's going to come off when you start doing activity. Also, because often when we're bigger, we're inactive. So once you
yeah,
start hitting all of this regular activity, your
right.
body's like, oh, this what we doing? All right, let me get rid of this shit then. Let me get
Yeah,
rid of
yeah,
that
yeah,
shit
yeah,
then.
yeah, 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 yeah. Start decreasing that fat.
Yep.
Now, for me,
Talk
um,
about it.
I'm always like the grass is always greener on the other side, meaning my fitness goals continuously change as soon as I
Right.
reach like one. You know what I'm saying? I'm never like,
Right.
oh, made it. I'm always like, okay, well, once, because it's like you put all this energy to get to this level or to get to this place, and then you
Right.
get there and you just like, so that's it.
Right. It's
Now I
like,
want to go
oh.
over here. You know what I mean?
Right.
So my weight kind of like fluctuates. Um,
Uh-huh.
but I'm gonna flash a picture that you could put in of like
Yep.
when I was the last time I was like really big. You know what I'm saying? To
Yeah,
the
yeah.
point where someone was like, "Yo, man, like, are you pregnant or some shit?" You know what I'm saying?
But
Like,
your
damn,
really
that's kind
big
of
was
fucked
not
up.
really big. Like I seen you
Well,
at your biggest. You was never 400 or 350 or nothing like
no,
that.
no, hell no. But
That's what I'm saying. Your big was not that big.
my big is like maybe
It
like
might have been
two.
out of shape.
Yeah, yeah, maybe like 250, maybe going
Yeah, come on.
towards
And you're a
260,
tall
something
guy.
like that.
You ain't 5 foot like me.
Yeah, and I'm about 6'1", if you will. But
That's what I'm saying.
it looks horrible. So, to me, anyway, I didn't like it.
Right, I
You
got you.
know, some people were just like, "Oh, you look cuddly." Like, no, just no. You know what I
Ah,
mean? No.
like
Um,
cuddly.
yeah. So I lost. We have a lot of tools. So yeah, I lost like a lot
Yep,
of weight. I'm gonna put that picture up there. And I got
yep.
really small. And as
Mm-hmm.
soon as I did, I looked at myself and like, okay, I lost a lot of weight. That's cool.
Right,
But I didn't like the fact that me losing that lot of weight, I lost like a lot of muscle. You know what I'm
yep,
saying? And so I reached my sort of like fat goal of like, okay, decreasing all this fat. But
right,
when I looked at myself, I'm like, yeah, but I like strength. I like muscle. And
right,
I started changing my goal to like get stronger and to get like bigger muscles and stuff. So
right.
my current fitness goal right now is well, it's interesting. It's like everybody, you want to lose fat and gain muscle, but you have
Okay.
to like sort of like prioritize one over the other.
Yes.
So I'd say right now, I'm a little more tweaking muscle than I am fat. Meaning,
Okay.
if I gain, like just the other day, like I looked at the scale and it's like, oh, I gained like 5 or 10 pounds. I don't really care about that because I'm
Right.
spending a lot of time
On the
gaining
weights.
muscle. Right. And
Right.
so weight is weight, which people need to understand. Oh, I want to lose weight. No, what you're really saying is you want to lose fat. So if
Yep.
I gain 2 or 3 pounds of muscle, that should be expected. In fact,
Right.
sometimes I forget. Like I've been doing for me what they call PRs, right? When it comes to these squats, like lifting more,
Okay.
doing squats like I've never done before, and just like going
Mm-hmm.
crazy with like a lot of weight. And what happened?
Uh huh.
My legs got like bigger, so much bigger
Yep.
that I couldn't fit my jeans. Not in like the ass part or anything,
Yeah.
but in all the like the quads and the
You hulked
hamstring.
out, baby.
Yeah, it got but I was even surprised because I was like, "What's up with my jeans? Like, am I getting fat?" And I'm looking at myself in the mirror and it's
Who
like,
shrunk these?
"What's
Did you
happening?"
shrink these?
And then I had to stop and think for a minute, and be like, "Wait a second. Like, what did you expect was going to happen? Like, you're
Right.
doing all kinds of crazy squats. You spent a lot of time on legs,
Right.
and your legs got bigger. And a lot of
Yep.
times, like legs tend to, for some people, react faster than like upper body. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I was like, oh, okay. Well, I've actually like proud to get new jeans, bigger
Right.
jeans, because I need the legs to fit in there now. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
So for me, my fitness goal right now is a little more muscle. Still want to lose fat, so I'm never going to like stop doing cardio
Right.
or stop quote unquote dieting. And for me, dieting just means looking at my calories, making better choices. I'm going to
Right.
eat my salads. I'm going to look at how many calories I consume. But I'm not doing things like what we used to do, and you might still
Right.
be doing, where it was just like, yo, I'm doing OMAD, son.
Right.
I'm like, because I still do fasting, but it's kind of like, lack of a better term, like sachet fasting. It's like I'm fasting, but not really. So,
Right.
like, I wake up in the morning, I don't eat a full breakfast. I'll just have like a protein shake, which I know is
Right.
like 180 calories. That's not a lot of
Hmm.
calories, but that's
Right.
enough to give me some protein so I can go into the gym and just do a bunch of shit for like two
Right.
hours or whatever. And then
Right.
as soon as I leave the gym, then I'll have my first meal. Is
Right.
that fasting? Yeah. Is it the fasting that, I was doing before? No, it's not.
Right.
It's not as strict as before, where I was just on zero, like just wake up in the
Right.
morning, water or apple cider vinegar, and that's that. Now I'm like,
Right.
oh, I'll have a protein shake. I'll have some calories, just to help me through my morning workout. So
Right.
that's pretty much my fitness goal right now, is a little more strength oriented, and I'll see what happens later on. So if I get to a point in terms of my strength and I'm like, okay, I feel pretty strong. I like the way the body's looking. I want to lose some more fat, then I might switch it up again. But that's where I'm
Right.
at right now. Yeah.
Right. You know, when you were talking, I was like, "Ooh, don't cut him off." But I didn't want to lose this thought. You were saying people always say they want to lose weight, and what they really mean is they want to lose fat. And I
Yeah.
know that's one of your favorite topics. So if you
Yeah.
want, we could tackle that next. But it's really interesting that you say some of those things with the goals. I could definitely relate. Um, we were doing a lot of cardio before, so much so that it was kind of detrimental. Doing that much cardio interval training on a daily basis. Back then, some of us were doing interval training 5, 6, 7 days a week. You were doing interval training like 7 days a week at one point. At one point, I remember for like 5 months, he was like, "I ain't miss a day. I ain't miss a day. I just been doing it every day. I don't care what's on my schedule. I'm doing it." And I was like,
Yep.
"Damn, that's gangster." You was on your no days off shit,
Yep.
and
Going
I
back. I'm
don't
going
do as
back to that
much.
mofo in a minute too. But go ahead.
Hey, get him. Um, um, yeah. So it's interesting. I definitely agree. We have to modify our goals on along the path. As you said, it's kind of like, well, I hit this, now what's over there? It's like, well, I got to what I wanted over here,
Right.
let me see what I can do over here now. So yeah, and I think another thing you said that was really important was prioritizing. For me, being that I'm trying to work on cutting fat, if I have to choose, like today where I'm short on time, if I have to choose between, am I going to hit the cardio or am I going to hit the strength training, because my goal is to lose the fat, I'm going to do the cardio. Because I know that's the thing that, especially with the interval training, that's going to dip into those fat depositories, those fat banks, as I like to call them, those
Mm-hmm.
savings banks,
Yep.
and get some of that fat up out of there. Um, and I think that that's something that a lot of people forget. Is kind of like, I want to weigh this much, I want to weigh that much, I
Yeah.
want to fit this dress, and it's like, okay, well, one, you have to be on a certain path to accomplish that, you know, and two, it's like, okay, don't forget to modify your plan. You know what I'm saying? Like, the same way we speak about changing up the goals with the workout as far as how many sets or reps you could do or what weight you could do or what resistance you could do, you also have to be on the other side of things where it's like, okay, I'm consuming this much, now let me see what happens if I do this, or I'm trying to get more towards this side, let me alter. Like I said, I'm trying to cut fat, that means I have to cut fats also out the diet. I can't just consume fat, 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 fat and say,
Right.
well, I'm trying to cut fat. So I think that's something important that people forget, because it's like, well, I'm gonna hit this salad diet so I could fit this new tux. It's like, all right, cool, but now you could fit the tux. Now what? You just gonna keep eating only salad? it's not really the best route. Make sure the
Yeah.
path you're on fits the goals you're trying to obtain.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It's like you're right. People have a short-term goal, right? I'm
Yep.
about to get married. I'm about to graduate from school, whatever. We're
Hmm.
about to go on vacation, and I want to fit into the swimsuit, or I want to be topless when I go to this on the beach. And you have these
Yep.
short-term goals, and a lot of people will break their ass to get to to get to that short-term goal and
Yep.
maintain that, not so much maintain it, but achieve that short-term goal.
Yep.
But in my opinion, I think the bigger goal should be um a lifestyle of fitness, because you're
Yep.
right. If your goal is just like, oh man, we're going on vacation and I want to lose 20 pounds, and you like don't eat and you do a little bit of cardio, whatever, and hey, if you bring your calories down that strict to almost nothing, you are going to lose a lot of weight, you know,
Right.
fat, water, a whole bunch of stuff. But
Yep.
yeah, now you've gone to vacation, you take the vacation pictures, you come back home, and if you go right back to doing what you were doing before,
You blow up.
yeah, it's like that's unhealthy. Where the goal should be, it should be a life goal. Like your fitness goals should be something you encompass for life. Like you want to have a
Yep.
lifestyle that
Right.
says, hey, I work out all the time. And not also mean
Yep.
like the gym or whatever, but you do some sort of exercise on a daily
Yeah.
basis, whatever that might
Right.
be. And
Yep.
you are cognizant of your calories, whatever that might be, you know,
Right.
um, so that
Those choices.
yeah, so when you say to yourself, oh man, so and so's wedding is coming up, and you just want to lose like a quick 10 or whatever, it's way easier for you to do it than you're being like 50 pounds overweight and just getting depressed and just giving up.
Right.
A lot of people will be like, oh man, like I got to take a photo shoot. All right, so let me get into this like great caloric deficit because I'm trying to get these photos to look real dope. And when you finish with that, rather than just being like, oh, I'm gonna just do whatever, still be cognizant of your weight. You can, put on a little bit, maybe muscle, maybe a little bit of fat, maybe you're not strictly eating the way you were before,
Right.
but you're not going way over that. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh,
Right.
pictures are done. Now I'm just gonna do whatever. Pizza
Right.
every day. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
nah. Yeah.
Yeah. You're right. Let's get into your favorite topic ever: losing fat, or as as everybody likes to say it, I'm gonna turn this fat into muscle.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Come on, I know
I don't
that's
even
your
I don't want to get
favorite.
started. I don't want to even get
Come on,
started
son,
with
that's
that.
your favorite. Go ahead, son. Go.
All right.
I'm gonna just open it up to you. Let me sip some water.
Nah, I
I'm really
just
about to go in.
certain things I just
Come
hate
on, son.
hearing when it comes to fitness, and when I hear people say, something like, "Oh yeah, I got a lot of weight, but I don't want to lose this. I want to turn this fat into muscle." Like a lot of times, whether guys, girls, don't matter.
Right.
They'll
I hear
have.
dudes say it way more.
Oh yeah, do say wait, wait, because they'll have a lot of fat mass. Like let's say you got a lot of fat mass in your arm. You
Right.
know it's fat. You know it's not a big bicep muscle, but you're
Right.
saying, "Hey, I like the size of this,
Right.
and so I want to keep this size. I like the way this looks."
Right.
But um I don't want to lose that volume. I want to keep this size, but decrease
Right.
the fat there and make the muscle that big. So they say in their mind, yeah, I want to turn this fat into muscle. And it's
Yeah.
just
Like
like
it's Play-Doh.
like it's magic. You know what I'm saying? Because my thing is always like, okay, you're basically
Voila.
right. You're basically like, and then they ask you about it. People ask me all
Yep.
the
They
time, how do
sure
I do
do.
it? And I'm just like, I can tell you how to do that. If you can tell
Right.
me how to turn an orange into an apple,
You know what I
can
mean?
you can you
Riddle me this.
you know what I'm saying? Can you, if there's
Riddle
some
me
way,
this, Batman.
that you can molecularly change that orange into an apple or apple into,
Oh,
if you can't change the molecules
right,
in it, then what the fuck are you talking about? These are two
right,
different substances. Fat
right.
is fat, muscle
That's
is
right.
muscle, and you
They don't
cannot,
transform.
they don't change into anything. So
Nah.
there are certain things you could do to lose fat. There are certain
Right,
things you can do to gain muscle. Both of those
right.
things are a little bit different. They're related
Yep,
in terms of you need energy, right? You need energy
yep,
to lose fat, you need energy to gain muscle, but that
yep.
about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if
Right,
you decide to lose weight, you're going to lose weight. It's going to lose weight
right.
all over. I don't know
Yep.
where it's going to start first, where it's going to end. Everybody's
Who
body is a
knows?
little bit different.
That's
And
right.
you might lose some of that volume in that arm or whatever, but you're going to gain muscle. So the thing is, I can't tell you that that's going to stay that big because you
Right,
know that that's big because it's fat there. It's
right.
surrounded by fucking fat. So look, get on the fucking do some whatever favorite cardio you want to do.
Right,
Lose that fat, and then get into do some strength training to get your
right,
muscles going. Because you see a lot of guys, they're big, they're huge, and they're not really all that strong. You have volume, but your muscles
right,
can't really do anything. Where you could, I've
right.
seen guys who are small and they pushing big weight
Yep.
because they're really really strong. So
Right.
stop saying how do you turn muscle into fat? It's fucking ridiculous. It's a dumb statement. It's just as dumb as when people say, because fat weighs more than muscle. What are you talking about? Fat weighs more than muscle. No, fat doesn't weigh more. That's like saying, okay, what
Don't they
weighs
say the other way around?
or muscle weighs more than fat. I don't know what the fuck that. It's all dumb. It's all. It doesn't make sense because it's like
Right.
saying, well, what weighs more, a
Hmm.
pound of quarters or a pound of ground beef?
Hmm.
A pound is a pound. You put it
Right.
on a scale, a pound of quarters, a pound of beef. What they're really talking about is
The amount.
volume.
Yeah, they're talking about
Volume.
the amount.
What takes up more space? Well,
Right.
a pound of quarters is going to take up less space than a pound of ground beef. A pound of ground beef is going to be like big. A pound of quarters might be, but it's still, a pound is a pound. So one
Right.
doesn't weigh more than the other. You can't say, you know, muscle weighs more than fat or fat weighs more than muscle. What you can say is fat takes up more volume than muscle,
Right.
right? That's why we call it lean muscle because you
Yep.
can have 10 pounds of muscle and it's like boom right there, where
Yep.
10 pounds of fat will take up so much more space, right? Just
Right.
like, damn, this is 10 pounds is a lot.
Right.
So, you know, it's these, we have to change the way we're saying things so we can change the way we see things, and
Talk about it.
understand that, you have to understand the language, understand what you're saying, and say, okay, same
Yes.
thing with people be like, oh, I'm trying to get more toned. What you're really saying is, I want to get stronger. You're not trying to get more
Yep.
tone. Trying to get more tone simply means I'm trying to lose fat and gain more muscle. And so you
Yep.
want to lose fat, you know what you got to do. Get in a caloric deficit. Eat less,
Right.
move more. You
Yep.
want to get stronger, you know what you got to do. You got to do certain things to make you get stronger, whether that is getting in doing some weights or
Right.
doing body weight workouts,
Yep.
whatever. But you got to challenge your muscles,
Yep.
progressively challenge your muscles. That's the only way you're going to get stronger.
Push it, baby. Push
That's
it.
it. There's no magic there, but stop with that bullshit turning fat into muscle. It's dumb, and you're smarter than that. You're smarter than that, people. Come on.
Yo, I had to do it, son. I had to alley oop that. Just,
Yeah, yeah. How do you
you
turn
know what I'm
water into
saying?
wine?
Had to
Okay.
just throw that up there for you to slam that.
You know what I
Because
mean?
I know that's your favorites, and I
Oh
know
my
we get
god.
that all the time, especially from dudes. Yo, son. I'm just saying though. I see you doing your thing. I want to know how I can turn this fat into muscle. Put me on.
Right. Let me know. I want to learn how to do that shit. That's magic. That's called magic.
You know what I'm
And
saying?
I don't know how to
You
do
mean
magic.
you
You
mean
got to
to
talk to a
tell me
magician.
you mean to tell me you want the bibbity bobbity boo?
Right. You want some
Okay, all right.
hocus pocus fly shit.
You know
I
what I'm
don't know
saying?
how to do that. I
That's
don't know how to
it.
do
That's the name of the episode.
that. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
it.
It's like, son, what the fuck you
Yo,
talking about? No, that's not gonna
turn
happen like
fat into muscle, baby.
that.
How
Mm-mm.
I do that, Dre? Put me
Just
on.
right. Put anybody in. But at the same time, I don't blame them because they get
Right,
sold that bullshit through products and stuff.
right,
Someone comes up with a product. Hey, buy this
right,
$60 and it turns muscle into fat. You're like, oh,
right,
I'm sending you my $60 right now. You
right.
know,
For 3 easy payments.
yeah, they sell you that bullshit, and you start to believe it. You
Right,
know, when people see the word like, and we're like we said, we're gonna put ours up there, a body transformation.
right.
It doesn't mean that something is transforming into one thing to another. So you get, oh man, you saw her body transformation. Well, yeah, like I get why we use body transformation, but you're
Yeah,
not you're not literally transforming fat into muscle. That's not
right.
what's happening. You're
Right.
transforming your look, you're looking quote unquote better,
Yep.
but one thing is not transforming into something else.
Yeah.
So people
It's
get
two
kind of
separate
confused.
categories. You're losing
Right.
you're losing fat and you're gaining muscle.
Right.
There's a difference. It's not a magic mixing bowl, and when you're done with your spell, out comes the beautiful muscle.
Right. Your fat
Don't work
starts
that way.
shaking, and then all of a sudden, pudding,
It just
it's
you just
muscle
go
now.
into convulsions
Right.
and then bam!
It's muscle now.
Woo!
Ooh, all that fat is
No.
transformed into
Right.
muscle. Shit, we don't
Psych.
want that. Right. Like, no,
Psych.
it's not gonna
Fooled
happen.
ya.
Right. So,
All right. What else we got? We got a lot of fitness right there. Let's talk about food, man. Let's talk about
okay.
food. Yo, as a plant-based person, I don't like to use the word like vegetarian or vegan. I just say plant-based because it could vary, right? Like today, I might consume no dairy or anything. But maybe tomorrow, I have a big ass pizza with a lot of dairy. Or maybe I hit the ice cream spot. That's definitely dairy. So I like to say plant-based, but society has this thing where it's like, oh, but you plant-based. So why you eating meat today? Or like, yo, son, I thought you was vegan. Why you got cheese on your pepper on your slice? Like, why you got cheese on your pizza though? I thought you was vegan. And it's interesting to me that it's like this dick measuring contest and it's taboo. It's like, well, I haven't eaten any meat in 22 years. It's like, but what the fuck that got to do with anything? Like, who gives a fuck? Like, that, I mean, if you're talking about health, then that's a larger conversation. And we can speak about the state of health of the country or of the individual, and that's fine, but that's a larger conversation than just meat consumption, right? Like, for example, at one point, I didn't eat any meat, but I had 5 pints of ice cream in a week. Does that mean I'm healthy because I didn't eat meat? No, motherfucker, you ate 5 pints of ice cream in a week. That's extremely unhealthy. But it's like people want to use these terms to dictate your life and your health. And it's real whack to me. It's like, I remember one time my dad was going away and we went out to this dinner and, everybody, we went to one of our favorite diners out in Ridgewood. And I was like, man, I haven't been here in so long. I just want a turkey club. Yeah,
Yeah.
turkey club, triple decker. Man, that sounds amazing. Yeah, with some sweet potato fries. Woo, that sounds like sex right there. Let me get that. And then I ate it and it was delicious. And then my daughter went home to her mother and came back and was like, so dad, you're not a vegetarian anymore. I said, what? It's like, yeah, dad, grandma and mom, they said you're not a vegetarian because you had a turkey club. It's like, what? What are you talking about? And I see this all the time. Like, I'll hang out with my boys, and occasionally I'll be like, yeah, that's what you're gonna order. All right, man, give me one too. Yeah, what's we doing steaks tonight? You doing a Philly cheese? Why not? I ain't had a Philly cheese since Nixon was president. Let me get a Philly cheese too. And it's like, oh son, so you gonna they get real close on you. They're like, yo, son, so you about to start eating meat now, son? That's what you saying, son? So you gonna abandon your squad? And I'm like, first of all, can you back up off me? Cause you mad close with your meat eating breath all on my nostrils. That carcass breath. Second of all, no, I'm just having a fucking Philly cheese with my dudes. Why is it like taboo to eat meat? So what? I had a Philly cheese. It's not the death of me. Like, yo, why is it that because you label yourself as plant based or vegetarian or vegan, that it's like, oh, what you doing? What you doing? You can't have that. You can't have that. Nah. You got to stick to these stupid ass societal pressures and stupid ass little lanes that we put you in. It's
I'm gonna
like,
tell
well,
you
fuck
why.
y'all.
I'm gonna tell
Go
you
ahead,
why
hit me.
right now.
Hit me with your best shot.
Because a lot of these, we have to understand what these things mean. A lot of
Uh huh.
these things um, are sort of a religion and not just dietary choices. So let's go in.
Go
If
ahead.
you're if you're a vegetarian,
Right.
right? There's two types of
Mm-hmm.
vegetarians. There's a strict vegetarian and there's a vegetarian. So a vegetarian is like, or not so strict vegetarian. So a vegetarian is like, hey, I don't eat meat, but I'll fuck with some cheese, I'll fuck with some milk, blah blah blah.
Right.
Um, and occasionally they might have meat. Some people like are vegetarians, but they still have fish, right? So
Right.
that's like a loose sort of vegetarian. A strict
Yep.
vegetarian is I don't put no meat whatever.
Right.
Okay. Now, plant based is I don't eat meat, I don't eat animal products, but I can get down with some kind of animal product. So let me be more clear. So the extreme is a vegan. And veganism is pretty much a religion. Well, what does that mean?
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with just it's not just your dietary choices. Veganism is like, yo, I don't have leather shoes. I don't
Right.
own a leather bag. I don't fuck with honey.
Right.
Anything that comes from an animal, I don't fuck with. That's more of a religious sort of mindset. It's like that's what a
Yeah.
vegan is. You know, and I think people
Yeah.
get people because people get under people don't understand. I see people calling themselves vegan, and I'm like, okay, but those leather Jordans dope, son. Like, how are you a vegan and you wearing those? You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't understand that you're being hypocritical. You can't call yourself a vegan and still enjoy animal products in any way. You can't be like, yo, I'm a
Uh huh.
vegan. I wake up in the morning, I have my green tea, I put a little bit of honey. Then you're not a vegan. If you're putting a little bit of honey in that bitch, you're not a fucking vegan. Veganism is all animals are sacred and have rights, and you never disturb them at all.
But
You
why it
don't.
gotta be a cult?
That's what it is. That's what
That shit is
veganism
whack.
is. That's what veganism is. Veganism
That
is,
shit is
yo,
whack.
that's what it is. Now, underneath veganism is plant based. Plant based says, hey, I eat mainly plant foods, but
Right.
I'll have a leather belt. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'll have some honey. You know what I'm saying? Like plant based means my diet is we talking plant based is diet. Veganism is lifestyle. You know what I'm
I hear
saying?
you.
That's what people don't understand. So that's why I hate people walking around. I've seen this all the time. Yo, black vegan. I'm a black vegan. And then I'm looking at them and I'm just like, I know you're not really a vegan because I'm looking at what you have on, you got that fly leather watch, you got it's a lot of animals you're wearing, kid. Like you can't
Right.
be a vegan and have animals dripping from you. You know what I'm saying? Like, in no way. Plant based is like, yo, this is a dietary choice. You know what I mean? Like, I don't give a shit. Like, I'll have leather this, I'll have cotton, so and so, wool. You know, all that you
Right.
could do that and be plant based. And then, as what you're saying is, well, hey, um, I'm a vegetarian, but I'm not a strict vegetarian. Every
Hmm.
now and then, I'll consume some meat, and that's that. Now, as I always say, dietary choices are just that, dietary choices. They don't make
Right.
you a better person. They don't say anything about your morals. These are just
Right.
dietary choices. What people tend to do is be like, well, I'm a real vegan. I don't fuck with no animals. And I believe all animals are sacred. And if you don't do what I'm doing, you're a piece of shit. It's like,
Right. Back to our microwave conversation.
yeah, it's like, well,
Yeah.
I respect your views. That's
Right.
what's up. That's the way you see animals. But just because I don't live the way you live,
Right.
don't come shitting on me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Uh huh.
those are your choices are yours. Let my choices be mine. But there does tend to be this like nose in the air, I'm better than
Holier than
you,
thou.
holier than thou shit
That shit is whack.
because I chose not to, and people do that shit with a bunch of things. There's people
And
who
it's
don't,
whack. It's all whack.
I don't, some people, I don't use any fossil fuels at all. Like, they'll just ride their bikes everywhere. They don't want to have anything to do with fossil fuels. Okay, all right, knock yourself out. I mean, people thought that was me. Like, for like 6 months, I
Oh, when
rode
he's
a,
biking.
yeah, when I was biking, and it was like, whoa, Dre, I really like what you're up to. And then after 6 months, I went and bought a fucking truck. They were, truck. Like,
Right.
it's horrible on the environment. I feel you. I don't. I still ride my bike though, but
Right.
ride my truck too. I never told y'all that I'm part of your religion. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, I think all that
that's
shit is
it.
whack. I don't
Yeah,
think it should be a religion. I think a lot of the religion shit is fake anyway, and that's a whole nother full podcast episode. But I think a lot of that shit is trash. I think a lot of that shit is a facade. And I don't want to be labeled. Like, I think it's like whack that I gotta be labeled and I gotta be held to some fake standard. I didn't sign your terms and agreements, nigga. Like, I didn't sign any of that shit. I just said this is what I'm gonna do. I made a
right.
choice and this is what I do. And the other thing is like a lot of y'all that are criticizing, ain't there bacon on your plate every fucking meal? Ain't there pork on your plate? Like, what do y'all stand for? You know what I'm saying? Like on some Dark Knight shit, what do you believe in? You know what I'm saying? It's like y'all want to criticize. What do you believe in? Let's talk about you for a minute since you want to talk about me. I didn't sign up to be in your cult. I didn't sign up, excuse me, Wire. I didn't sign up to be in your religion. I didn't say I'm only doing these three things. Like, yo, I'm an individual with choices and options in America. Fuck you, I'm gonna do what I want. I don't like that shit. I don't like when it's like, well, if you're a God fearing Christian, then you must do these things. No, fuck you. I'm a God for shut up. I'm gonna do what I want to
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
How
And
about
I,
that?
I
Like
feel you.
if you
Like, I
if
don't.
you're if you're a plant based person, then you can't have any honey. Honey is great. Fuck you.
Yeah, it's like, I feel the same way. Like, I don't like labels. I don't like being put in boxes. Let people do what they want. Unfortunately, people use labels all the time. And so my thing is, if you're going to use a label and it's well defined and like this is what it is, then understand that if you're walking around wearing that label, and I see so many of these people doing it, especially with black folks walking around, black vegan this, black vegan this, that. I'm a black vegan. And it's like, brothers and sisters, I know y'all style. I'm hanging out with y'all all the time.
Right,
And it's not for me to, point everything out. But when you're walking out with this shirt that's so big and bold saying I'm a black vegan,
right,
and I'm like, you're talking about dietary choices. And that's what's up
right,
if you don't eat animals. But there's no way you're a black vegan and you got that dope ass Mercedes with the leather interior. No, you're
right.
not a vegan then. You know what I'm saying?
I
It's
feel you.
dope. Like, you look good, you look great. I love your whole style, but you're not a vegan if that's what you're doing. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So we just got to
So
understand.
you saying we got to be careful what flags we wave, what sets we rep.
Yes, yes, exactly.
All right.
Know
I
your
hear
set.
that.
Know your set.
Rep your set.
Exactly.
All right, cool.
Before we go, I know you're about to
Yes.
go. Last thing,
Yes.
and
Talk about it.
I want to get people's opinion because I know me and you talked about this. We were talking
Okay.
about the name of the podcast,
Oh
Food,
yeah, yeah,
Fitness, and
yeah.
Fun. But a friend of mine told me this, and I think she's right.
She
It
has a good
should
point.
that the name Food, Fitness, and Fun is not really all that accurate. That the name really should be Food, Fitness, and Philosophy, or something like that. That
Well, what
because
you
we
text me was fitness, fun, and philosophy.
right, right, like that needs like the philosophy needs to
Yeah.
be in there somewhere in the title, and I feel like she might have I think she has a point, and I just kind of
Yeah.
want to get the audience to
Viewing
say,
publics, right?
yeah, to say what they feel that it is. So if y'all feel like we should put the word philosophy somewhere in the name of this podcast and change it up, um, comment below. Be like, yo, yeah, I think that's right. Even though we do talk about fun. Obviously, we talk about fitness and food, but there is a lot of philosophical conversation going on. I love
Yeah.
philosophical conversation. So does Jay.
Absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely.
so should we put that in the title? You tell us. I'm very curious about what y'all think.
Right.
So let
So
us
so
know.
the proposed name would be uh fitness, fun, and philosophy with Dre and JD. That would be the new name that we are proposing, that she proposed and we are discussing.
Or
So
something like that.
food.
Because I never know. I'm always like, yeah, but what about this?
Yeah, son, but we
But
can't change the podcast
I
name
know,
every three
I know,
weeks.
I
Like we
know, I
gotta,
know,
we
I
gotta,
know, I
we
know,
gotta
I
commit.
know. I'm like, yo,
That's how brands are built. You feel what I'm saying? You can't be Nike
oh,
this week and then
you
in
ever
3 weeks be
watch,
like, well, actually,
yo,
now we're Nike Plus.
you
You
ever
know what I'm
watch,
saying?
you ever watch Parks and Rec?
No.
Oh man, so people who watch Parks and Rec would know. Like when it first came out, there was the dude who's now a big movie star now, from um, Guardians of the Galaxy. What's the
Yep.
dude name?
I know you're talking about. The main character,
Yeah,
Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt. He came from Parks and Rec, and he
Oh,
was
okay.
really funny. But what he would do, he had a band, and
Oh.
every week he was always changing the name of the band. He'd be like, "Yo, that's a good band name. That's it. That's our band." The next week, you know what? Nah, that right there, that's our new band name. It was the
Yeah, see, you
funniest
trying to
thing.
be on that shit. You trying to be on that shit. We can't change
Just
our
trying to
name every
keep
three
changing the
weeks.
name of the
Like,
band every time.
It's
But
had a few different names over the years. We started with Teddy Bear Suicide, but then we changed it to Mouse Rat. Then we were God Hates Figs, Two Doors Down, Department of Homeland Obscurity. Then we were Three Skin, Just the Tip, Flames for Flames, Muscle Confusion, Nothing Rhymes with Orange. Then Everything Rhymes with Orange, Andy Wire Experience, AD and the D-Bags, the Andy Andy's, Rad Wagon, Five Skin, Four Skin, Death of the Scam Artist, Razor Dick, Puppy Pendulum, Awesome Pendulum, Venus Pendulum, Angel Suicide, Angel Snack, Jet Black Pope, Punch Face Champions, Ninja Dick. We went back to Mouse Rat, and now we are Surfer Pope.
no,
nah, you can't do that.
I'm fucking around. But should we put philosophy in there somewhere? What Jay is
Right.
saying is correct. It would, that's the way it would be. And I just want to
Yeah.
kind of know like what y'all feel about it,
Right.
because I think it should. But
Right. And part
it's
of
up
what
to
she
you.
said, so they can understand her point, is she said two things that really stood out to me and Dre, and that's what we've been discussing. The first thing was that we don't talk about food every episode. But what we do is we kind of dive into our personal philosophies on things and these philosophical topics. Although the name currently is Food, Fitness, and Fun, we don't dive into food topics every episode. I think that's okay, but that's her point. And what she's saying is it may behoove us to put philosophy in the title because there is a very philosophical tone overall every episode to the podcast. And I thought that made a lot of sense. Um, so that's what we're discussing. So if we change the name, the change would be allegedly the proposed change, because this guy is wilding. Y'all saw his face. I hope everyone is watching the video because y'all saw his face just now. Y'all seen it. It's on video. Y'all seen it. He had that mischievous look. Y'all seen that.
Takes that shit
Can't
every week.
hide from the video.
Right, yo. The new
So,
name is Food, Fitness, and Hip Hop because we talking about that. Nah, I'm fucking around. Every week, son. Be like, yo, the new name is Full Fitness and Dating. Just every time, just always.
Son, we
Fuck
can't
is
build
we
a brand
doing?
that way, son.
Everything is always. I
Wallet.
don't. I don't even know what it is. People like, yo,
Oh my
what's
god.
the? I don't. You asking me what it is? I don't know. Nah.
All right. The proposed name is Fitness, Fun, and Philosophy with Dre and JD. So that is the proposed name change. Let us know your thoughts, and we'll get back to y'all soon because this guy, he's wilding.
All right,
I'm
peace,
out.
y'all.
I gotta go.
And let's roll out, roll out, roll out, roll out. Let's roll out.